Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you, and with everything happening in the world, I thought it was important to talk about what this means for Sweden with the war between Russia and Ukraine. Now, I want to make it very clear that the last thing I want to do is be an alarmist, and we're going to talk about NATO and Sweden and Finland possibly joining NATO. There's a lot of stressful stuff happening in the world, and I do think that it is a stressful time. I think it's important to talk about it. With that being said, I'm not saying that Russia is invading Sweden tomorrow, so everybody please understand that. And also, I'm just a regular dude. I'm not an expert. I make YouTube videos for fun as a hobby, and with that said, people do come to hear my opinion, and I felt like the majority of you would want to hear my opinion on this. So there's going to be strong opinions. I don't want to offend anyone. I'm just going to give my opinions, and I'm open-minded on this too, and from that, let's go forward. So I was going to make a bunch of YouTube videos this week, but honestly, I got bummed out about what was happening in Ukraine. Just with the pandemic ending, there were so many things I was looking forward to, and then I just kind of got the wind kicked out of my sails a little bit for this week. I didn't feel motivated to make YouTube videos. I was glued to the TV, and just have this helpless feeling of the people in Ukraine fighting up against the tough Russian army. And I got to make it clear, being that I'm an American, I'm just always going to be pro-NATO. I mean, NATO is something that I learned is good ever since I'm a kid. But I will say that NATO has expanded over the years. And I understand that the old Soviet issues that we had decided, both sides have kind of gone against those treaties over time. But the only thing that bugged me through everything is there was no way in a million years that Ukraine was ever going to join NATO. Never, never, never. The West was always flirting with that idea. And we could always see Russia getting more aggressive towards Ukraine here this conflict happened. Let me also make it clear that Russia is the country that is in the wrong. Okay? They are the country in the wrong. I'm just saying that there's been a battle being fought back and forth between Ukraine and Russia. With all that said, Sweden and Finland have both been neutral countries. Now, I would say that Finland is a neutral country. Now, when I say that, let me make it very clear that even when Finland was looking at the possibilities of joining NATO, Finland also agreed that because they're so close to Russia, that Russia ultimately could attack them first before their allies could even help them, that it was better for them to be neutral. So now Finland's flirting with the idea of joining NATO, so is Sweden, due to them seeing what happens to a non-NATO country. And now we see when there's an attack to a non-NATO country, everybody's upset, everybody's outraged. They send you tanks and weapons, maybe military aircraft. We were supposed to send it. I don't know if it's getting sent now, MiG-29s. I don't know what's going on with that. I know Russia keeps threatening countries that are helping. I don't know if people are nervous about that or what. But this is what we see currently going on, currently happening in the world. The reason I feel this is a very controversial issue for Sweden is Swedes, Finnish people, they're proud of being neutral. It's something they're very proud of, and they believe that that's a big reason for the security. With that said, though, Sweden and Finland did buff up their militaries during the Cold War and did see Russia as a threat. If you're Sweden right now, there's a couple things you have to consider and think about. And again, I am not trying to be an alarmist, but the drone situation that happened in Sweden over their nuclear power bases, power plants, and around Stockholm, you would have to think that that was Russia potentially marking strategic military targets in case of an invasion, in case of military strikes. You have to take Russia now much more serious. Now, to me, I feel like what Putin's doing right now is a bit irrational, so it makes me a bit nervous. Just because I just feel like there's no way he's going to win this, and it's just going to hurt his country way too much that he's just doing this out of pure just being nuts. So that's why I'm saying maybe in his nutsness of wanting to bring back the old SSR, wouldn't he want it to be bigger? Wouldn't he want to have Finland and possibly Sweden as well? So there's always the potential of that. But with that said, I feel like that Sweden and Finland are in a very difficult spot because I'm not really sure that I believe now is the right time to join NATO. I feel like them joining NATO would only add tensions to the fire. And although I am American and I'm pro-NATO and pro the West, I feel like Sweden or Finland could possibly get into a NATO versus Russia conflict. Because do we join NATO right away? Like, how does it work? Is it going to be like a month process where Russia has the chance to respond? Because Russia did say they would respond. They would have to have a strong strategic and military response. Basically, that's just hinting at a military strike, maybe airstrikes. Like, what are you going to do if you're Sweden if that happens? So I do think that Sweden has a strong military. They have a strong air force. And I do believe that they can defend themselves, but not long term from an invasion. And Sweden has the very similar strategy as Ukraine does as far as defense would go. If you are an adult, you're expected to stay here and help out in the effort. Every adult in the country. So that is something I think that is weighing on Swedes more, that they're thinking about the current situation and what's happening, and just viewing Russia more as a threat. I think that the draft, if you will, and getting more young people trained to be in the military will go up. Every young, healthy adult will get some type of military training. I think that you will see countries like Finland and Sweden. Sweden already develops things for the Iron Dome in Israel, and I think they'll probably develop some kind of anti-missile defense system for their major cities. Even where I live in Linköping, you have to assume would be a strategic military location for them. With all that said, does it get better or does it get worse? I do not know. It comes down to how far is Putin willing to go, how much is Putin willing to lose, and how much Putin's people are willing to suffer. Now, my theory is, if I'm allowed to give a theory, is I think that the Russian population will turn against Putin and Russia him, or assassinate Putin. And I think it's going to happen relatively quickly, because I think people have to understand that because a pandemic has happened, everybody in Russia has been stuck inside too. And now, like, all the cool stuff that was supposed to happen in Russia, the Euro Cup, this game between Poland and Russia, all this fun stuff is getting canceled. Their economy is getting turned to crap, all to fight their neighbors and their friends and their relatives and their brothers and sisters. They do not want it. They will revolt very quickly. There have been constant protests in Russia, and I feel that the government will collapse within 2 to 3 months. That's my critical prediction. I do also fear a Russia that has a power vacuum as well. But we'll see. I was thinking it'd be really cool if the guy that's in Russian political prison, I can't think of his name now, I'm sorry, the one that decided to go back to Russia, if he would get a chance to even lead, would be awesome. So, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope it wasn't too controversial for you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Hej då.